Flick and the Tricky Treat. Once upon a time, in a forest filled with glittery mushrooms and talking trees, lived a little firefly named Flick. Flick loved exploring the forest, following the trails of moonlight and chasing playful fireflies like himself. One warm evening, while flitting near a bubbling stream, Flick heard a strange sound. It wasn't the usual hoot of an owl or the chirp of a cricket. It was a sweet, tinkling melody, like wind chimes made of sugar plums. Curious, Flick followed the sound deeper into the woods. The trees shimmered with an unusual glow, and the path shimmered with rainbow dust. Finally, he reached a clearing bathed in a soft, purple light. In the center stood a tall, thin creature with wings that sparkled like diamonds. "Hello, little one," chirped the creature, its voice like a tinkling bell. "I'm Shimmer, and I have the most wonderful treats. Candied glowworms and rainbow-dusted dewdrops." Flick's tiny mouth watered. He'd never seen anything like it. "Wow! They look delicious," he said, his eyes widening. Shimmer chuckled, her wings shimmering even brighter. "Why don't you come closer, little firefly? See for yourself." Flick took a hesitant step forward. He really wanted to taste those yummy treats, but something felt wrong. "My mama always says I shouldn't talk to strangers," he mumbled. Shimmer gasped, her voice dropping a pitch. "Oh, but dear one, I'm no stranger. I'm a friend of the forest, just like you." She tilted her head, her eyes gleaming. "Don't you want to be friends? Friends share yummy treats, right?" Flick wasn't sure. He glanced back at the path, moonlight shimmering faintly. He missed his mama and the familiar glow of their cozy den. Suddenly, a wise old owl hooted from a nearby branch. "Little Flick," he hooted, his voice deep and rumbling, "always remember your mama's words. Strangers can be tricky, even if they seem nice." Flick looked back at Shimmer. Her smile seemed a little too wide now, and her eyes looked a little strange. He squeaked, "Thank you, Mr. Owl. I have to go find my mama." With a burst of light, Flick zoomed away, following the familiar moonlit path. He could hear Shimmer calling after him, but he didn't stop. He flew as fast as he could until he reached his den, nestled safely behind a giant mushroom. His mama, a warm, golden firefly, rushed out. "Flick! There you are! Where have you been?" Tears welled up in her eyes. Flick snuggled into his mama's light. "Exploring," he said, "but I met a stranger with treats. Mr. Owl reminded me to be careful." His mama smiled, her light glowing with pride. "You did wonderfully, Flick. It's always best to stick with friends and family, especially when you meet someone new in the forest." Later that night, as Flick drifted off to sleep, he saw the familiar glow of fireflies outside their den. It was his friends, all gathered around. They were excited to hear about his adventure, and while they listened with wide eyes, Flick knew one thing for sure: friends were the best kind of company, no matter how sparkly the treats offered by strangers may seem. Remember, kids, when a stranger approaches, shout "Stranger danger." Be like Flick, don't accept candy from stranger. The end.